Hi guys, welcome. Today, just like the title says, I'm going to be talking about the heart and brain conditions that I have been living with my entire life, but just found out about a couple years ago. Where it all started was back in April of 2013, and I passed out at church when I was there with my friend, and I was supposedly kind of shaking and it looked like I was seizing, so they thought I had a seizure. And I didn't. What I have is called episodes. They're just like seizures, but they don't do damage to my brain. And they called the ambulance, and I went to the hospital, obviously. And they just thought I passed out. They thought it was heat or something. And so I just stayed there for a while until I was feeling better, and I ended up going home. And then a couple months later, I ended up having another episode, which some people pass out. It's not that big of a deal most of the time, but this was like really close to each other. And my mom has seizures. She has a history of having seizures, and she has something that's kind of like epilepsy. She reacts to flashing things. And so my mom was really set on the fact that I was having seizures. I am going to be just like her. She was really worried about me because she knows how much it sucks. And so my mom thought this, but she never really acted on it. And then 6th grade rolls around. 2013, I was in 4th grade, and 6th grade rolls around, and the entire summer I had been going to open gyms for volleyball, and I was really looking forward to it. I was told I had a spot on the team, and I went to go get my physical. This was right before tryouts because I was dumb and I waited because I procrastinate for everything. And I went to the doctor and I had talked to them about my history, like my medical history, and they were looking at things, and they realized how easily lightheaded I get when I stand up and how severe it is compared to other people. Other people obviously get lightheaded when they stand up sometimes, but mine was really severe to the point where I could stand up and just pass out because I would get so lightheaded. So they wanted to do this thing. It's table something, I don't remember what it's called. It's where they stick an IV in your arm and they have you up vertical but leaning a little bit, and they basically see how long it takes for you to pass out. And I was like, I can't do that. My anxiety levels were super high. I have really bad anxiety because of what I have. And so I just basically said no. And this was at the cardiologist, which is our doctor. And so I said I couldn't do it. And so he spoke with someone at the hospital, and he decided to contact a neurologist up in Dayton Children's in Ohio, and he discussed what was going on with me, and they both decided that I have POTS syndrome, which is the heart condition, which gives a lot of things come with it, but mainly it's low blood pressure and really high heart rate, which causes weird spikes, and it keeps me from playing sports. That's why I was so upset that I found out right before volleyball season. And basically I just was put on medicine for it to regulate my blood pressure. And then I started seeing the neurologist on a regular basis, which I was kind of confused about because this was with my heart, but the neurologist apparently had kind of specialized in POTS and was more familiar with it. And so I saw him for a while, and his name was Dr. Lacey, and I would always tell him what was going on. Obviously, he's my doctor. He was giving me medicine. He needed to know what was going on. And eventually we were discussing my anxiety levels and just my history, and he said one day that he thought I had a condition called dysautonomia, and turns out that I do, which this has to do with the autonomic nerves in your brain, which has a lot to do with your emotions, has some to do with physical things, it's got a lot to do with a lot. So that also ails me from doing physical things, at least to a certain extent. I go to the gym every day, but that's on my own pace. I couldn't participate in gym in high school because I had to go at my own pace, otherwise it could get really bad, to the point where they told me that at 16 years old I could go into cardiac arrest, which is a heart attack, which would not be good for someone my age. It could really be deadly. So it's a pretty scary thing sometimes, but I'm learning to live with it. You get used to it. Sometimes it obviously really sucks, but sometimes you don't even notice it. But we're at the point now that if I'm having an episode, or if I think I'm gonna have an episode, I let everyone know that it'll be fine. Like, don't call an ambulance because eventually I'll be alright. Like, it looks like I'm seizing, obviously. My mom said I look like I'm from The Exorcist. I tell everyone around me, don't call the ambulance, like I said, and I'll get through it. Like, I went to the zoo one time with my boyfriend and ended up having an episode there, and it was obviously scary for him, and he ended up breaking down because he was really scared, and he knows the extent that it can go to, and he thought that it was going to be the last time that he saw me alive, which I feel so horrible about, but I did not want to put him through that. But everyone at the zoo, all the workers and stuff, were really concerned, and they really wanted to call the squad, but I had specifically told him, don't let them do that. Like, do not go to that extent for me. And so then it started pouring down rain while we were there, and they were like racing me in this Jeep, and then, so we were all getting soaked, and then they stuck me in this truck, and they ended up taking me back to the car, and we had gone with his brother and his girlfriend, and his brother and his girlfriend were still in the zoo. And so we just sat in the car for a while, and he sat up in the front and was breaking down because he had been really scared, and I was just in the back, and I pretty much just went to sleep because that's what happens after I have an episode. I just have to sleep it off, sleep the rest of the day, because it completely wears out my body. It uses like all of my muscles. It makes me feel so sick. It just is horrible. Like I said, I have it pretty much under control now. I still can't play sports or anything like that, but I'll be alright, and I just have to watch what I do. Otherwise, like I said, it could be fatal. I'm sorry if I was a little scatterbrained. I didn't like take any notes or anything. I thought I would just talk. And if there's anyone else who has the conditions that I have, feel free to contact me. We can talk about it, or if you have any questions, just ask. And thanks for making it this long. Sorry if it was long, and like I said, sorry if I'm really scatterbrained. I don't even know where to begin with all of this. It's a really long story, so thanks for watching.